How's it going? It's Brian Soscia, Mix 106. I am here at WWE WrestleMania weekend with legend Hall of Famer Sgt Slaughter. How you doing?
Can hut. Okay, at ease.
So, Sarge, The Rock, G.I. Joe. Do you feel like he's coming in on your territory here?
Well, it's a blessing to see The Rock play Roadblock, and I was actually supposed to be in the movie.
What happened?
Well, a conflict of interest with toy companies. The Rock doesn't have a contract. He's way beyond where the Sarge would have liked to have been in this business. But I have a contract, and the toy company I worked for is Mattel. And unfortunately, Hasbro is they lock horns. And so I had to kind of stand on the sidelines and dig a foxhole and just be a fan.
Dig a foxhole and be a fan. Hey, maybe G.I. Joe too. We'll see, right?
Right. Well, I was told that the part that Bruce Willis played was supposed to be me. So it was an honor that they thought of my character to be one of the last G.I. Joes around with Roadblock, but there'll probably be another one out there. As long as I don't see my name on the tombstones. I haven't seen the movie yet, but I know there's a part where The Rock is at a graveyard, and he said, "We're all that's left," and I'm hoping my name isn't on one of those tombstones.
Me too. I hope you'll be in G.I. Joe Part 2. Brian Soscia here with Sgt Slaughter, WrestleMania, and we're in the Access building now, Izod Center, and going to be at WrestleMania 29 later on. I'm very happy here. It's an honor to have you here. You got the Hall of Fame ring. I was trying to look at that. I didn't want. That's beautiful. I mean, you have to take pride being in the WWE Hall of Fame.
Yes. Anytime that you're respected by your peers and voted in, I was found out that I was unanimously voted in. And it's a real honor to wear this ring and be a part of WWE and to go around the country as their ambassador and help wherever I can to promote the product, the pay-per-views, the televisions, the live events, and go to children's hospitals, go to veterans hospitals, visit the troops around the country and overseas, and just to bring a smile to people's faces, playing golf tournaments and throughout the first pitch at ball games. And
you ever get nervous doing it? You ever get nervous doing that? Because I'd be so nervous throwing at the first pitch of a ball game.
Well, I've been lucky enough to. I've only had one that didn't cross the plate.
The Sarge?
Yeah. But I move up a little bit. I found my first couple of times on the mound is a whole different pitch because you're dropping down. It didn't bounce. It just was a little high. So I decided to move up in front of the mound, and I haven't had a problem yet.
That's awesome. Well, Sgt Slaughter, you've done so much in your career, and I got to say that I enjoyed watching you growing up. You were a fan favorite for a while, and then you came to WWE. You came back, I should say, and you were the sympathizer.
Right.
The Iraqi, Iranian, whatever it was, sympathizer. Colonel Mustafa, General Adnan, and you.
Yeah. Well, my first tour of duty, I came in as the mean drill instructor and did a Cobra Clutch challenge and got everybody to know about the Cobra Clutch. And Pat Patterson and I went off and had one of the greatest matches of all time in Madison Square Garden. That's not me saying it. That's anybody that's ever saw it or watched it. And then I went off to do other things and came back. My second tour of duty, I taught Vince McMahon into bringing me back as a hero. I came back as a villain, but to turn hero against the Iron Sheik. With all the things that had happened over in Iran and the hostage situation and the killing of the Marines at the embassy and the Black Hawks going down and Ayatollah Khomeini, and we never really got any, payback or satisfaction of that. So I said, why don't you let me go after the Iron Sheik? And he said, I like that idea. And his father was running the company at that time. And he said, no, can't ever turn the Sarge into a hero. He's too good of a villain. And Vince just looked at me and winked and said, don't worry, I'll talk to Pops, we'll get it. So one night at Allentown, Pennsylvania, he came up to me and said, are you ready? And I said, ready? He said, yeah, I want you to go out there and give me a General Patton promo against the Iron Sheik. So nobody knew about it but Vince and I, and I guess the production crew. So we went for it.
Did you have confidence in yourself as a performer? I mean, you may be a little younger at that point, or were your knees knocking before you went out there to do this? I
was so comfortable; it was unbelievable. I just I knew that I could do it, and it was the promo. We didn't have writers then, and we didn't have. It was all kind of an ad lib thing, So when I went out there, I knew kind of the points I wanted to hit, but it wasn't, in my mind. And of course, the Iron Sheik and Ayatollah Blassie, Fred Blassie, is his manager. They didn't know I was coming either. So, but being the pro that Blassie was, he understood it, and he caught right on to it. And when they played the Marine Corps hymn after the Iron Sheik had spit on the ground, I came out and challenged him. I said, if you want to fight somebody, I'm the man to fight you. And of course, the first hour of the taping, I was the villain. Yeah. And people were kind of caught in between, because when they heard my music, they were kind of like silent, and all of a sudden it kind of momentum built up, and finally when I came out, they were out in a rage, yeah, USA, USA. That was a great feeling. It gave me goosebumps, still gives me goosebumps.
When the people chant USA, I mean, you're standing tall for your country, you're doing your thing. I feel bad that I know so much about sports entertainment and wrestling, but the one thing I'm unsure of, because I didn't really follow G.I. Joe except for when I was a kid, quick, was G.I. Joe Sgt Slaughter first, or were you first and they modeled it after you?
They were there first. They were never alive. They were always animated. So after I did the turn with the Iron Sheik, they came to me, and they were so set ahead by it, or set to go ahead with it, that they wanted a real live character in their 30-year history of being animated. So they came to me and asked me, and of course, another conflict of interest.
Oh, man.
So I had to either give up the WWE or go with Hasbro, and I decided at that point in my career that I could always be a wrestler. I can always, do the GI Joe. So I went with it. I missed the first 6 WrestleManias because I was with Hasbro, and I don't think I ever regretted it. Missing the first 6 WrestleManias, being in them, I watched them, but I wasn't in them. But the 7th one I was, and later on in your life, I've met 7 presidents, and a couple of them have told me, President Reagan and President Nixon all told me that when they saw the thing with the Iron Sheik where I did the Pledge of Allegiance, they said that they stood up and did it with me.
That's got to feel...
Yeah, they were watching the show and they actually stood up and did the Pledge of Allegiance with me. And President Reagan brought me in into Washington D.C., had me at a fundraiser, and presented me a flag that he flew over the nation's capital in my honor, for promoting patriotism, and mentioned me in a speech that if the Democrats thought they were going to beat him in the re-election, it would have been like Beaver Cleaver beating me in a wrestling match. And awesome. It was pretty cool deal to know that you had presidents knowing who you were. And he gave me the speech and autographed it. And it's real, that the effect of WWE is not only with the WWE universe, it goes everywhere around the world.
So you drove your camouflage Cadillac to Washington. Do you still have that, by the way?
Yes, I do. It's not running at the present time, but I've been contemplating of making maybe a monster truck or monster car out of it.
That actually would be probably huge. I'm sure people would go to see that. I remember, was it Sgt Slaughter that would do a tug of war at the monster truck shows for a while?
Yeah, we did tug of wars against Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Blood, Sweat, and Gears, we called it.
Blood, Sweat, and Gears.
And I had a bunch of weightlifters from each town that we would appear at come and get on the rope with me, and we'd have a tug of war with the battle battalion against Bigfoot or some type of a monster truck, and it was really a lot of fun.
He's not saying who won, so I don't know if everyone asked that question.
We always ended up with a tie, it seemed like, and we let the audience vote, and they always voted for their truck.
Yeah, so they're a pretty intense fan base, like the wrestling fans. Sarge, all these presidents love you. You're promoting patriotism. You missed the first, let's say, 6 WrestleManias. 7, you come in. Did G.I. Joe, the company, I guess, have a problem with you becoming the sympathizer?
No, I was finished. My contract was up, and
did you hear anything from them at all?
No, not at all. They still allow me to use G.I. Joe, their license. I have it on my pictures when I do Comic-Cons and things like that. And they're just a real great company to have worked for. Unfortunately, being under contract, I couldn't do the movies, but Rock isn't under contract. So,
Were you scared doing the sympathizer gimmick? I mean, I know you're playing a role, but I mean, people take that seriously, and I mean, that had to be nerve-wracking. Were you afraid to leave your house?
Well, we didn't know what impact it would be. We just thought about the overtake at Kuwait. Vince McMahon wanted I was just out of GI Joe and Hasbro, and WrestleMania 6 had just ended with the Ultimate Warrior and Hulk Hogan, and it wasn't even over a week. Yeah, the Ultimate Puke, the Ultimate Puke, and and the Vince McMahon had called me. It wasn't even a week after WrestleMania 6 was over, and he was already looking to have WrestleMania 7 main event. And asked me if I was available to come in. He had an idea, and I said, yeah, I'm ready to go. And so I talked to my family, and I said, I think, Vince McMahon's going to take me and G.I. Joe and the Real American Hero all the way, because he always told me when I would talk to him when I wasn't in the company that I was bigger than Hogan because of the turn with the Iron Sheik. And he knew that because he saw the fan mails and the calls and everything. But it was a good time for Hogan because I had left and he was the only one left. But at one time we were both, running each different arenas every night. He would be on one and I'd be on another, and the business was booming. But when I got to Vince's house and talked about what he wanted to do, I was completely caught off guard, and he said, it could be something you need to talk to your family about. So I went home and told them, and my wife, of course, she just said, you're crazy, you can't do that. You can't side with Iraq, and it was the overtake at Kuwait, and we didn't think it would be that bad of a thing, and so we went with it, and Vince gave me the reins to do as much as I could, and if I got too far over the line, he'd pull me back in. And of course, after I won the title from the Ultimate Puke in Miami, everything kind of went the other direction. And I just landed in Philadelphia, and Vince McMahon had called me and said, "Have you spoken to your family?" I said, "Was there a problem?" He said, "Well, not now." He said, "We got threats from someone this morning that they were going to kill you and me and our families and blow up our houses and blow up the wrestling office and blow up the studio and blow up the arenas where I'm appearing." And he said, "I didn't want to take a chance, so I sent some security over to your home." And so I had, when I got back home, there was a Winnebago in my driveway, and there was armed guards, 4 armed guards. They walked the perimeter of my property 24/7, and they wanted to take me to wherever I had to go, take my wife shopping and take my kids to school. And we said, no. We'll, if you want to be here, protect the house, that's fine, but we're not going to.
But did you feel backlash from the community when you're doing this?
Oh, yeah. I had to go to my children's schools and go to different places and let them know that I was Sgt Slaughter, the character, and this was a part of the character of being an Iraqi sympathizer. And I was, not really that. I was just playing a character.
Well, imagine 20 years prior to that. I mean, you wouldn't be able to say anything like that. You have to just live with it. So, I mean, you were blessed to be able to do it at that time. Now, in all honesty, and I've always wondered this, because when I was younger, I remember you throwing the fireball. It's one of my memories. And the smell of napalm or burnt flesh in the morning, or he said. But would you ever take that run of your career back? Did you regret that at all? Because some people have things to say. I say it's entertainment, but I don't know.
Yeah, no, I never regretted it. I'm sorry that lives were lost, and before we pulled it out, because at the time we did it was just the overtake of Kuwait. But when the war started, lives were being lost, and I'm just sorry that we didn't pull back sooner while American lives were being lost. But we did it as quick as we could. And Vince McMahon always assured me that when I asked for my country back and forgiveness, that the American people and the WWE Universe would always accept you back, and which they did. And one night I just went out and did a promo with Gene Okerlund, and I asked for my country back, and they were kind of, not sure. And then I sang in my Sgt Slaughter voice, "God Bless America," and there wasn't a dry eye in the house, including Gene Okerlund. And so when I got back, Vince McMahon just shook his head and and said, "I've never seen anything like that." And so that's kind of how we did it. And the only things that I regret were things that I had said, just kind of tongue in cheek, and it was all done in entertainment. But
I mean, they do movies about it and stuff, so
Right.
I mean, it's kind of the same thing.
right,
I
right.
just think that, and I don't mind to hijack the mic. I'm gonna let you go in a second, but I just think that the way that you did that turn and you came back, it was beautiful. Like you said, I remember being a child watching it and accepting you back, and you know, we might have been mad at you, especially as kids, but when you came back as the Sgt Slaughter we knew. As you can see, he's a great man, and it was him playing a role. And Sarge, I don't know if I'm even doing it right, but I want to salute you.
Yeah.
Thank you for being one of the greatest, if all time, and that's no hype. Thank you for coming out.
You being having me on your show, and for everybody out there, enjoy WrestleMania 29, and look forward to the rest of the WrestleManias. I'm sure one day we'll be on Mars.
Yeah, right? I think we will run there.
The way we're going, we'll probably be on Mars one.
You gonna drive your Cadillac there?
Gonna try to get it there. Gonna try to get some super jets on it.